Some acts of heroism happen in seconds. Others unfold slowly, minute by minute, under fire, with full awareness of what the cost will be. What happens when a man knows the system has failed him? When the help that should arrive doesn't? When leadership hesitates? When every delay means someone else may die? On September the 8th, 2009, in a village called Ganjgal in eastern Afghanistan, a Green Beret staff sergeant faced that moment. He knew the risk, he knew the odds, and he stepped forward anyway. This is the story of particular importance to me because I know one of the men whose life Robert Miller's actions saved. By 2009, the war in Afghanistan had changed. This was no longer the opening campaign. It was counterinsurgency. The mission that day was Ashura, a meeting with village elders in Ganjgal near the Pakistan border, meant to reduce Taliban influence without violence. The American element was small. Some U.S. Army Special Forces personnel, embedded advisors, some Afghan National Army personnel, and a small Marine security element. They were not set up for a major fight. The village of Ganjgal sat in terrain built for ambush. Elevated ground, tight compounds, limited maneuvering space, narrow access and escape routes. Warnings existed that somehow were ignored. Concerns were raised, but the mission still went forward. Shortly after the Americans and their allies arrived, the Taliban struck with prepared, coordinated fire. This was not chance contact. This was deliberate. Gunfire erupted from rooftops and ridgelines. Americans were immediately pinned down in exposed positions. Men were hit almost immediately. Calls for close air support went out, and the help that should have come did not. Fire missions were delayed or denied by superiors. Command authority hesitated. On the ground, the reality was brutal and immediate. The men were surrounded, outnumbered, and on their own. When the lead flew, Staff Sergeant Robert Miller did not wait for orders. He moved into open ground, deliberately exposing himself to draw enemy fire away from teammates who were trapped. He fired from exposed positions. He shouted directions. He maneuvered between points under heavy fire. This was not a single dash. This was sustained action, again and again, as Miller distracted and misdirected the Taliban. He consciously chose to become the focal point for enemy fire, so others would not be. He was hit. He kept fighting. He was hit again. He continued to engage. Those who watched him later said the same thing. Miller knew exactly what he was doing, and he had to know the probable result. Multiple rounds struck Miller. Still, he refused to withdraw. He repositioned. He returned fire. He bought time. Eventually, another burst of fire struck him critically. This time, he fell. Under intense enemy fire, his teammates moved to him. They dragged him to limited cover. They applied pressure to his wounds. They spoke to him calmly, trying to keep him conscious. There was no safe evacuation. Rounds impacted nearby. Radios crackled with confusion. Miller was aware of his surroundings, aware of the support of his brothers. Those with him later described his composure. No panic, no fear, just acceptance. They stayed with him, and Robert James Miller died there, not alone, but surrounded by men who refused to abandon him because he did not abandon them. 9 Americans would die at Ganjgal, but men lived because Robert Miller stepped forward. His Medal of Honor, like so many, was awarded posthumously. If you've enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and tune in next time for more stories like this. I'm Dave Ross, and thank you for joining.